Hi, in this video we will see how you can calculate the future value of any investment you may make today. This is probably the first step in any introductory finance course. You will see what is the concept of time value of money. This is something you probably saw in the past when you went to the bank and saw a deposit and invested some money in that deposit. Even if you did this already, now we will see a formal way, a formula for this in general, okay? To start with, let's look at a bank deposit. Imagine you have 1,000 euros. So this is the initial capital. So this initial capital, you have this 1,000 euros, you go to the bank and deposit it for 1 year. So let's draw here the timeline, okay? So this is now on time 0, and this is in 1 year. And what we want to know is how much will we have after 1 year. So you know the initial capital C0 is 1,000. Now based on this, we want to know how much will C1 be. So how much capital will we have in the bank after 1 year. To find this, we need to add here the initial capital plus the interest payment we expect from the bank. So if you go to the bank, you deposit your money because you know that you will have a certain interest payment over that year. So on top of your initial capital, you will add interest. Now we need something else to calculate the interest amount, which is the interest rate. Let's say that the interest rate is 5%, our interest rate. So this is what the bank pays you throughout 1 year of a deposit. Based on this, we are able to find the interest payment. This will be interest rate times C0. So R times C0 will be the interest payment that the bank owes you after 1 year. Okay, so this here is the interest payment we were looking at. We can see what happens with the numbers we have. This here will be 1,000, the initial capital, plus 5% times 1,000. Okay, so we are just using the inputs we have, initial capital and interest rate. Based on this, we will see that this will be 1,000 plus 50, so the initial capital plus 50, which is interest rate, the interest payment, interest rate times initial capital, and finally we have 1,050. This here gives you then the value you will have after 1 year. Let's write down the formula in general for this capital after 1 year. So if you pick on this, you will see that this here can be simplified into something else. This can be simplified into C0 times 1 plus R. So we know that C0 is here, and here we isolate it, and then we have C0 times 1 plus R. So in general, C1 is equal to C0, the initial capital, times 1 plus R. So we just need to know two things. What is the initial capital and the interest rate? Once we know this, we know how much we expect to have after 1 year. Now, you may invest for a different time period. You may invest for more years. Let's see what happens when we invest for 2 years. When we invest for 2 years, we have here one extra period. Okay, so, and now the question is, how much is C2? Okay, C1, we know already that C1 is C0 times 1 plus R. Okay, this is what we saw with the previous steps. Now we want to do a similar thing and get the value of C2. And we use the same approach. C2 is C1 plus the interest payment of the second year. So it's the same rationale. To get how much will we have after 2 years, we use the initial capital and add interest. But now, the initial capital from the perspective of year 2 is how much we will have after 1 year. Okay? So we use the same thing, and interest payment will be interest rate times initial capital again. Again, let me refer that we are just changing from C0 to C1 because the perspective changed. We are 1 year later, so let's use the initial capital from the perspective of 1 year later. C1 is equal to this. So let's substitute C1 by the formula that is based on our actual initial capital, the amount we have today. So this will be C0 times 1 plus R times C0 times 1 plus R. So I'm just substituting this by the formula that is dependent on C0. If you work this out, you will find out that this is simply equal to C0 times 1 plus R to the power of 2. Okay? If we use the values we will have 1,000 times 1 plus 5% to the power of 2, which is 1,102.5. Okay? But the main thing here is that now we are able to find the future value in any moment based on three things. So if you want to find how much capital will you have after n periods, what you have to do is looking at the initial capital, looking at the interest rate, and looking at the number of periods. So if you want to know how much cash will you have in a deposit after 5 years, you just need to know how much you have today, the interest rate that the bank will pay you annually throughout the 5 years, and the number of years, which is 5. So you just need to multiply C0 by 1 plus R to the power of n. Once you do this, and once you know this, you are able to compute the future value of any initial investment you make today.